There is a moment in front of certain Japanese floral compositions when time seems to slow down. They are not abundant bouquets, they are not explosions of color. They are curved branches, empty spaces, lines that seem suspended in the air, and yet they communicate something profound. That art is called Ikebana, and it was not born to decorate, it was born to listen. The word Ikebana literally means living flowers. It is also known as kado, the way of flowers. Its origins date back to the 7th century, when in Japan it was common to offer flowers and plants to the spirits revered in Shintoism. Flowers were not decoration, they were a gift, a gesture of respect. With the arrival of Buddhism, compositions began to become more structured, more symbolic. It was no longer just about leaving a flower. It was about thinking it through. Slowly, that religious gesture turned into a language. At the end of the 15th century, Shogun Ashikaga Yoshimasa strongly promoted the tea ceremony and Ikebana. It was during that period that precise rules began to be codified. In the 16th century, the art of flowers already had several schools. It was no longer just a religious practice. It had become an aesthetic discipline. It was also practiced by generals, convinced that it could help free the mind and make clearer decisions. It is a striking image. In an age of wars, men-at-arms stopping to arrange a branch. Perhaps because the concentration required is total. Perhaps because in silence thoughts also become clearer. In Japanese homes there was a dedicated space, the tokonoma, an alcove where the compositions were displayed, not in the center of the room, but in a place of contemplation. In Japan, plants and flowers have precise meanings. The evergreen pine indicates eternity. Bamboo symbolizes youthful flexibility. Flowering apricot branches recall old age. It is not only what is chosen, but also how it is arranged. In March, a season of strong winds, branches can be curved to evoke the movement of air. White flowers, symbolizing water, are used to ward off fire. Red ones, instead, may be avoided because they evoke flames. This language is called hanakotoba. But what makes Ikebana so different from Western compositions is the importance of empty space. Not everything must be filled. Emptiness is part of the work. It is visual silence. Since Ikebana entered Japanese culture also through Buddhism, many of its aspects are linked to Zen philosophy. Those who practice Ikebana create in silence, with patience. The very act of choosing a branch, observing its natural direction, deciding where to cut it, is an exercise in attention. Nature is not forced. One collaborates with it. One learns to accept imperfections. A crooked branch is not a flaw. It can become the center of the composition, and perhaps this is exactly what still fascinates today. In a fast, hyper-connected society, Ikebana imposes slowness. After the 17th century, Ikebana lost part of its popularity, but it did not disappear. Today there are still more than 1,000 schools. The oldest is located at the temple Rukkaku-do in Kyoto, founded by a monk in the 15th century. This means that Ikebana is not a relic of the past. It is a tradition that has adapted. Contemporary compositions can be very minimalist or even experimental, but they remain faithful to a fundamental principle: respect for nature and for time. And perhaps this is the reason why today Ikebana is experiencing a new revival. Its attention to lines, colors, and shapes dialogues perfectly with modern aesthetics. But without losing depth. Ultimately, Ikebana does not only teach how to arrange flowers, it teaches how to observe, to remove instead of adding, to leave space. It reminds us that even a small gesture can be full of meaning.